Hello, everyone. How's it going? Forgive me for being a couple of minutes late. What happened was I was just literally about to go live and I smashed a massive glass of water all over all of my equipment. So I've now got towels on everything and I think everything is still working, hopefully. And we're going to get into it. So, how's everyone feeling? Welcome to the Sunday catch up. My name's Adam Holmes. I'm a songwriter from Edinburgh in Scotland. And every Sunday, I take a little bit of time to share some wisdom, drop some wisdom bombs on you guys from my journey as an artist, from my journey as someone who's built 800,000 followers, made 10 albums, and done thousands of concerts and loads of other stuff. And yeah, this week's been a good one. Sunday. It's Sunday. I can't believe it's Sunday. I'm hungry, guys. I've not had any food yet. I've kind of been doing some fasting and finding that gives me a lot of energy. I feel really good on it. I definitely hit 1 o'clock and it's 1 o'clock in the UK right now and I'm feeling ready for something to eat. Anyway, looking forward to having a wee bite to eat after this. I've just been eating some protein and some fat. I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit that protein and fat after this Sunday catch up. What I want to chat to you guys about today is evidence and how your relationship with evidence in your life might be the thing that's holding you back. It might be the thing that's stopping you from achieving the life of your dreams. This probably sounds a little bit strange. And you're maybe wondering, Adam, what are you talking about? And it's a great question. And I don't 100% know yet, but all week I've been thinking about evidence as a concept. Can someone let me know if you guys can hear me okay in the comments? Just want to make sure that's all good before we get into it. Evidence is a concept that I've been considering all week, and here's why. Whenever you set out in your life to achieve some kind of goal, whenever you set out to attain some kind of new reality, what happens is you are forced to evaluate your relationship with the evidence that you have within that particular area. So to give an example, I can recall really clearly sitting in the bath with my daughter when she was only a year old and her mother had gone to London for the first time. And I can recall thinking, how am I going to parent this little kid? Like, I don't know how to do this, right? I didn't at that point have any evidence that I was going to be able to do that job well. And when there's a lack of evidence, there's a lack of fear. When there's a lack of evidence, there's the presence of fear. Now, in my view, evidence and confidence are cousins. What do I mean by this? Well, once you begin to gain enough evidence from taking certain activities, you begin to feel confident. You begin to feel like you're going to be able to complete a task relatively easily. Now, let's give an example. If you live in the Western world, and I was to say to you, how confident do you feel that you could eat a meal with a fork or a spoon? I'm going to wager that your confidence levels about being able to eat a meal with a fork are probably relatively high. If I then said, what about chopsticks? Maybe if you hadn't used chopsticks a lot, your confidence levels about being able to eat a meal effectively with chopsticks would not be as high, right? So we're looking for feedback versus evidence in our journey. When we set out to attain a goal, we're looking for feedback versus evidence. Feedback is, how can I improve, right? Feedback is, we try things, we look at the things that we've done and we go, how can I improve? Evidence is, please let this be enough. Actually, when we're seeking evidence to prove that we're good enough to do something, we are actually it's hoping. We're hoping, right? And I see this all the time with people who I'm coaching. I'll see that people will come to me and say, I've posted 10 times on social media and I've been in the analytics, right? I've been in the analytics now trying to figure out whether what I'm doing is good enough, when actually feedback would say you don't have enough feedback yet. You simply need to create a ton more results, and then you will have enough information to look at and decide whether or not there's room for you to improve, right? And I've been thinking a lot about this lately because I've got various goals right now that I'm looking to attain, right? And what inevitably happens when you set out on the path to achieve a goal is you're met with your own limitations. And that's the point of setting a goal. The crazy thing about goals, when you think about it, is the point of a goal is not to actually attain the goal. The point of setting a goal, rather, is simply to change your behavior. And the behavior is changed when you set a goal, when you actually set a goal, not in the attainment of the goal. By the time you've attained the goal, the behavior's already been changed. That's the interesting thing about setting goals. So for me right now, I'm looking to build a club that has 5,000 people in it, right? Right now, my club has 1,000 people in it. And what's been really interesting is since I set the goal, here are the things that I've learned, right? Originally, I was going live on Instagram on my phone, chatting to people. And that's really how I built the core foundation of my club. And when I built the first 500 people inside of my club, I built it just by going on Instagram, talking to people, and people signing up for the club that way. And then since setting the goal that I was going to build 5,000 club members, I built 500 extra, right? But that's not the point. The point is that since setting the goal that I'm going to build 5,000 club members, I've been forced into a situation where I'm learning new things. And that's the cool thing about goals is if you set a big goal, you kind of force your hand to have to grow, to have to learn. So to give an example, I've learned how to use streaming software. I've learned how to use better microphones and better lighting. I've learned how to set up automation via ManyChat to send out links to the clubs rather than sending them out individually. I've been learning Facebook ads, and I've been growing in my understanding of what a pixel is, how that works, how that connects to your website and back to Facebook, how the analytics are calculated, and it's all growth. I'm comfortable putting myself in a space where I'm growing and I'm learning. And that's the thing about evidence is really you need to have faith, not evidence. What you actually need is faith. You need to have a delusional belief that you can create something when you don't yet have the evidence. And when you set the goal and you set a really big goal, what you're effectively saying to the universe is, I believe in the power of this to happen before I have the evidence. And that's the important thing. If you want to be a songwriter or you want to get better with money or you want to have a better relationship with your family, what you actually have to learn how to do is believe before you have the evidence. And this is the thing I see so many people who I coach struggle with, is they'll think, but Adam, I don't have the evidence to prove that I'm good with money. And I'll say, okay, but what is the belief I'm bad with money causing you to do right now? What behavior is that causing in you? And actually, if you had the belief I'm amazing with money, maybe that would start you on the path that you need to be on before you actually have the evidence that it's necessarily true. So you need to get comfortable and confident believing things before you have a right to believe them. Like I was telling people, because a little bit of my background, I was a songwriter. I just toured all over the world. I didn't know anything about online. I didn't know anything about social media for years and years and years. I just did gigs and I didn't even post on social media. I did one post when my album came out. Boom, album's out. That's it. I thought I'd done a lot of work. Now I'm posting 5 times a day about things that I did years ago, and I'm more confident and comfortable. I now have a lot of evidence that says I'm good at social media, right? Because the evidence says, well, I have 800,000 followers. I've quadrupled my business. I coach people on it. You know, I know what I'm doing with social media now. But when I started on the journey 3 years ago, I had no idea. I did not know what I was doing. I didn't know. And I had to have faith that I was going to find out through the process of making mistakes. Now, the funny thing with competence, when you think about competence as a concept, right, is many of us think that the way to become competent is by being good at things, right? And that's a very insidious thought, because it's a thought that creeps in and stops you from taking action. And actually in life, the action that you take, and action and mistakes are cousins. I mean, they're just constantly together. The more action you take, the better you get, the more evidence you have, the more confidence you attain. So in many ways, the price of confidence is failure, which is crazy to think about. I went on social media when I first started my journey building my social media, and I just failed. I just posted and no one saw, posted and no one saw, posted and no one saw, posted and no one saw for a year. And then what actually happened was I was starting to get feedback from the world on, that didn't work, or that was slightly better. Exact same with my performance journey. The first few gigs I did, I've been booed off stages. I have left gigs and told people you can ask for your money back because I did such a bad job of the gig. I have forgotten words on stage. I have felt every emotion under the sun in the pursuit of becoming excellent at performing. And that's what I want to offer you today, is actually mistakes equal competence. And if you're not willing to publicly learn to make mistakes in public, you're never going to attain that competence that you want. So if you're so afraid of coming across as perfect that you're not willing to get out there, learn in public, and make mistakes, you're not going to earn the state of competence. And competence is a really, really, really fun state to earn. Going back to my original example of being in the bath with Rosa and her being little, and me having no evidence really to support that I should be confident as a parent, I can recall saying to myself, this is the price I pay to have an amazing relationship with my daughter. This is the price. And I remember those dark, lonely nights looking after her, and her mum's away and I didn't know what I was doing. I'm feeding her with the bottle and she's crying and I don't know how to chill her out, and I'm just so alone. You know, that's the thing about mistakes and the journey of self-improvement, is a lot of it you just feel alone. You know, I felt alone and lonely when I was building my social media and I didn't have any real feedback to say that it was a good idea. I wasn't having people saying, this is great, your songs are great, love what you're doing. It was just me failing, my friends and family watching me fail, and my own sense of faith in the fact that if I just kept showing up and kept doing things, eventually I would get better and eventually I would earn the state of competence. And what I really want to offer you above all today is the perspective that if you're able to just experience negative emotion for long enough, you can actually have anything that you want in life. I'm willing to feel embarrassed. I'm willing to feel pain. I'm willing to feel grief. I'm willing to feel not good enough. I'm willing to feel shame. I'm willing to feel dread. I'm willing to feel terror. I'm willing to feel not good enough, and just keep working and keep trying things and keep getting better. And I think that's the reason why I've been able to be successful. That's the reason why I've been able to make 10 albums. That's the reason why I've been able to build 800,000 followers. That's the reason why I've been able to build a coaching business. That's the reason why I've been able to have a great relationship with my daughter, is because I'm willing to experience any emotion. Isn't that crazy? Think about that. Everything that you want. That's the reason why I was able to lose 30 pounds of body fat. It's crazy when you think about all the things that you want in your life are on the other side of loads of emotion. And if you're just willing to experience that emotion, let's say that you want to have more money, right? I remember wanting to have more money. And the first time that I went and put myself out there and said, hey guys, I'll help you make a record, and I put it online, my ego was like crushing me, because I felt, no, I'm the big man. I know what I'm doing. I shouldn't have to make offers. I'm like, my ego was telling me this is a bad idea. My ego was trying to sabotage me, when actually there's honor in working and serving and offering value and, providing for your kid. Those are honorable things. And yet my ego is saying, no, keep what you've got. That's your ego. Your ego is going to want to keep this pretense of perfection. If you ever do well in life, your ego is going to say, just leave it there. Just keep it there. That's good. Don't expand, don't grow, because then you might expose yourself as not perfect. But friends, what I want to offer you today is, if you're willing to show up and be like, I'm not perfect, and just show up and keep getting better, life is so fun. It's such a fun way to live. It's like, you know what it feels like is, do you guys remember that feeling when you used to wake up and you would think, oh man, it's a school day, and then you remember it's not a school day? That's how I feel about not having to be perfect publicly. It's like, I can just show up, be me, make mistakes, and it doesn't define me. And here's the thing, if you're out there actively trying to make the world a better place, trying to get better every day, trying to offer value to the world and be a better person, how does that make you bad? It doesn't. How does wanting to better yourself and make the world a better place make you a worse person? It doesn't. It makes you amazing. So get out there, try stuff, fail, fall on your face. I've failed spectacularly in public. I've been through divorces in public. I've everything. I've done it. And the beautiful thing is, I'm still here and it's all okay. Everything's cool. The thing that you want to develop, if you are struggling to find the evidence to say that you deserve to be a competent person or a confident person, is faith. You have to find faith in life. It takes an extraordinary amount of faith in order to really create the results that you want to create in your life. And I've got 3 ways that I want to give you that you can use to create more faith in your life. I've got a tiny bit of water left because I tanked all of my water onto my laptop and my interface right before the Sunday catch up today, which looks like it's all cool. All the equipment's still working, which is great. By the way, guys, if you're getting any value out of this episode today, if you ever got any value out of any of the content I create, please come and join my club. If you want to join, comment club. If you're watching on Facebook and Instagram, if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the top comment or click the link in the description and come and join us. Okay, 3 ways to create faith in your life. Number 1, parent yourself. How you talk to yourself, how you speak to yourself is incredibly important. If you show up in life and you start to believe all the stuff that your head says, you're going to have a very difficult time. If you're not able to talk to yourself more than you listen to yourself, you're going to have a very difficult time. Think of if you were with a little kid, right? and the kid was saying, I'm afraid, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, I don't think I can do it, think of how you speak to your kid. You say, it's okay, come on, you could do it, give it another try, it's okay to make mistakes. Now, if you're saying that to your kid, why would you not speak to yourself like that? Why would you not be speaking to yourself in that way? If you put yourself out there and you do a social media post, or you lose your temper with your kids, or you fall out with someone, or you don't show up in the way that you want to show up, why would you beat yourself up? If you speak to your kids kindly, you have that capacity, you have that ability. And what I want to offer you is that tough love is not being horrible to yourself. Tough love is the same way if your kid falls over and skins their knee and feels like that's the end of the world, you say to them, it's not the end of the world. Up you get. It's going to be all right. That's tough love. Parent yourself. And my recommendation is, if you've ever had a really, really hard time with this, is hit therapy. That's what I did. Really helped me. Did loads of therapy. Tremendous help in my adult life. To help me talk to myself, Number 2, remove unhelpful evidence. I spoke to a friend recently who I hadn't seen for a long time, and I'm very conscious about the people who I do hang out with these days. And he's one of those friends where he will just say the odd little snidey thing, I don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need people adding to the pot of negativity. And this is not like, you have to have resilience in life. You can't simply be like completely knocked off of your bike by anyone saying anything remotely negative. But in terms of your immediate circle, don't have people in your immediate circle who are providing additional unhelpful evidence consistently. That's not a you problem, but if they're doing that, they're going to keep doing that. It's not going to be good for you. It's going to bring you down. It's going to bring your vibration down. So remove unhelpful evidence. The third idea I want to leave you with in terms of creating faith in your life, and this is, faith is the petrol in the car, right, of your goals. If you have a goal that you want to grow your social media, make more money, have a better relationship with your kids, be more healthy, live a better life in any way, faith is the petrol in your car, in the car of your life. And I remember one night in COVID, my neighbors coming over and us doing tarot cards. I had these 2 really nice neighbors, and one of them was really into doing tarot cards. And the interesting thing to me about things like tarot cards and horoscopes, stuff like that is usually quite polarizing. Usually people are really into it or really not. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't know I don't know. What I do know is that I think it's interesting that these things allow us to have discussions that we might not normally have, right? So my neighbor brought over these tarot cards, and he recited this poem to me, and you'll know it. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul, right? Many people know this statement and they like it and they recite it and they put it on placards in their bathroom, blah, blah, blah. What many people don't know is the first section of the poem. And it's actually the bit that is way more valuable. The poem says, "It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul." Now, the point is, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Yes, absolutely. But the first part, it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. It doesn't matter. What is that statement saying? It doesn't matter what I feel. It doesn't matter what I experience. What truly matters is that I'm going to keep going. I'm going to continue in spite of suffering. And that's what I want to invite you today, above all, to think about with regards to your goals and with regards to how you view evidence is, are you willing to suffer and continue? Because the best lives belong to the people who are. And suffering's not optional anyway. Everyone's going to suffer. Life's half and half. You're going to have good moments. You're going to have bad moments. And what really matters is the suffering you choose. Because you can choose to have no money and suffer, or you can choose to have money and suffer. You can choose to not be patient with your kids and suffer, or you can choose to be patient and suffer. You can choose the pain of stagnation or the pain of growth. You're going to suffer either way. My recommendation is to choose the pain of evolvement. I think that's what we're here to do. We're here to evolve, we're here to grow, and we're here to help each other. I hope this episode helped you today. And if it did, and you want to get way more content like this, come and join us in my club. The easiest way to join simply is to comment club on this video, or if you're watching on YouTube, just click the link in the top comment, check it out. Inside my club, we have documentaries, WhatsApp, private chat. There's 1,000 members in my club. There is movies. There's loads of great stuff that can help you to feel creatively inspired and creatively fulfilled. And if you ever got any value out of anything that I do, I'd really appreciate if you came and joined us. If anyone has any quick questions just before I go, I'm going to hang out for a little couple of minutes and answer them. And really appreciate all you guys being here. Thank you so much. Congrats to all the children. And happy day to Rosa, says Sarah. Today is Children's Day. Amazing. Brilliant. Yeah, we had a good live stream last night. That's inside the club now. I'm going to be back on later on singing songs as well. So that's going to be fun. I'm doing streams now. I've got a new streaming schedule. So I'm going to do Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I'm doing 1 o'clock and 9 p.m. UK time, which I believe is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for our friends in America, you can tune in that way. And really appreciate all you guys being here. I hope you guys have a beautiful week. I hope that you can consider evidence and how you create evidence in your life in a slightly different way via this talk. And I hope you guys all have a brilliant weekend. I'll chat to you soon. Cheers.